He said, should I entrust you with him, except under coercion, as I entrusted you with his brother before? But Allah is the best guardian, and He is the most merciful of the merciful. And when they opened their baggage, they found their merchandise returned to them. They said, O our father, what more could we desire? This is our merchandise returned to us, and we will obtain supplies for our family, and protect our brother, and obtain an increase of a camel's load. That is an easy measurement. So the brothers are very excited. He's given us everything that we gave him in return for this. He's given all the wealth that we took with us back. He's given us so much food. He just wants Binyamin to be with us next time. Yaqub said, never will I send him with you until you give me a promise by Allah that you will bring him back to me, unless you should be surrounded, meaning unless you're overcome and you can't do anything about it. And when they had given their promise, he said, قَالَ اللَّهُ عَلَى مَا نَقُولُ وَكِيلٌ. Allah over what we say is a witness. And he said, O my sons, do not enter from one gate, but enter from different gates, and I cannot avail you against the decree of Allah at all. So he's telling them that when you enter the city in Egypt, because in the olden days, major cities were surrounded by great walls. The walls were there to protect them at the time of attack. And then the walls would have huge gates in them. And he's saying that don't enter the city from one gate, all of you together. Enter from different gates. Why is he saying this? Because the sight of 11 strong young men entering into one gate could lead to problems for them. It could be that people think, are these young men plotting something that they've come here? Are they going to steal from us? Are they going to cause problems? Or it could be that people could see them, give them the evil eye, that all of these are sons of one man. So for whatever reason, he's telling them to protect yourselves and do not enter simply through one gate. But after saying that, he says, and I cannot avail you against the decree of Allah at all. عَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْتُ وَعَلَيْهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُتَوَكِّلُونَ. Upon him I have relied, and upon him let those who would rely indeed rely. Meaning at the end of the day, I am telling you this as a plan to protect you, but ultimately what Allah wills is going to happen. And I trust that He is the one who will protect you, and He is the one who will make sure that everything is aright with you. And when they entered from where their father had ordered them, it did not avail them against Allah at all, except it was a need within the soul of Yaqub, which he satisfied. And indeed, he was a possessor of knowledge because of what we had taught him, but most of the people do not know. Meaning it didn't help Yaqub alayhi salam. He said this, he tried to protect his sons, but it didn't help. But it was a need in him. Parents have a need. Even if they can't be there, they have this automatic feeling that they want to protect their children. And for that feeling, he said what he did. But at the same time, he had a realization that I'm doing what I can to protect you, and I'm telling you what I can, but in the end, it's Allah who will look after you. And indeed, he was a possessor of knowledge because of what we had taught him. Yaqub alayhi salam was a prophet, so the knowledge he was given was greater than other people. And he says, but most of the people do not know. Do not know what? That even after you have made dua, and you have made a plan, and you have tried your best, from your part to do what is right, things will still not go according to the way that you want. Sometimes things will happen that you don't want to happen. And that's the plan of Allah. And that's the will of Allah. And ultimately, the trust part is that we trust that Allah always wills what is better for us. We might not see it at that moment, but ultimately He does. And when they entered upon Yusuf, he took his brother to himself. He said, indeed, I am your brother. فَلَا تَبْتَئِسْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. So do not despair over what they used to do to me. You can see the self-control of Yusuf alayhi salam. He calls Binyamin to himself, his own brother whom he loves and trusts, and he reveals himself. And imagine Binyamin all these years has been separated from his brother also. So he would have been isolated and alone with these 10 brothers now. And he says, do not grieve over what they used to do to me. Don't grieve over what they did. He could plot against his brothers now, and he could cause great problems for them. But instead, he tells his brother, don't grieve over what they did. Don't criticize them. Don't say anything to them. Even after everything these brothers have done to me, don't worry about it. Rather than going over the past, he's happy that he's seeing his brother now at this point.